Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of the Geeknd Live. Hello, Tristan Peterson in the chat. Welcome once again to what I'm sure will be another magical moment in time on planet Web. Otherwise known as it's the end of the internet as we know it. And Tristan Peterson is in the house. There's confirmation with a message popping up on screen. I'm using a new system again. I keep trying new systems. So apologies for the slightly, I would say apologies for the bumbling start. You're used to a bumbling start by now when I do these streams, aren't you? Right. So today we have a special stream. As I mentioned, I am joined by a guest that I'm sure many of you will know already about his work. We're going to talk about his work in Star Wars, music as well. He's actually been merging the two, Star Wars and music, two of his passions. He is probably, I think it's fair to say, the son of Star Wars' second favorite scoundrel. It is my friend, who I'm just working out how to bring him into the stream. My friend, Corey Dee Williams. How are you, mate?
Hey.
Good to see you again, old buddy. How are you? You're old pirate, to use a certain line from a certain film. How are you?
That film. Oh, that one, right?
Yeah, that one. It's good to see you, my friend. It's been a long time since we Skywalker Sound saying hello to you as well. It's been a long time since we spoke, really. We've in the past we've done an interview about your time on Star Wars, which we're probably going to repeat in the next few minutes, and we've also we've made music together, technically as well. Do you remember I was doing that song for the BBC and you made a bass line for it as well, and it got played on breakfast radio on BBC Six Music. So there was that song we did together, and then we also did a song together for your YouTube channel with the 3D Nucleus Project, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on, Cloud City Funk. So we'll come on to the music, but we need to talk about a bit of Star Wars, I think.
Sure.
And I always like asking you, because I've met your dad. I'm not, I don't know your dad as well as you know your dad, of course, but I have met your dad. And there's a story he was telling me about. I think I asked him what it was like having, kids at school when he became famous as Lando Calrissian. And having to go to school, what kind of reaction he got from the kids, because obviously kids in that era would know their Star Wars, they would know their Lando. And he told me a funny story about, how he used to get a bit of grief from the kids. You sold out Han, you betrayed Han Solo, how dare you? So what was it like? What was it like for you growing up as the son of Lando?
Well, I'd been in a situation where, he's been an actor pretty much most of his life. And, growing up, he was doing a lot of different films. Sometimes I traveled with him and I was on set for some of those films. So I got to enjoy, hanging out and spend time with him. But yeah, I mean, when Star Wars happened, when he did Empire, I was out of high school at that point. But yeah, I mean, no one had any idea how legendary this stuff would become. I mean, we knew it was big and it was very popular at the time, but it hadn't reached the legendary status that it reached now, that it has now at this point. But yeah, I mean, it was always fun. It was always interesting, And
I think your sister got, it's not fair to say the rougher deal, but I'm going to say the rougher deal anyway, because she was a bit younger, wasn't she? So I think, at her school, in her classes, she got a little bit more sort of like teasing about Lando and his behavior towards Han.
He probably had to put up with more stuff than I did. She was the elementary school kids. My father was telling me how he'd have to explain himself to elementary school kids, which isn't that easy to do.
No, but I bet he tried, because that's something I learned from meeting him. He really is convinced, that Lando did nothing wrong to Han. He will really back that opinion, won't he?
He didn't have much of a choice. I mean, how do you tell Lord Vader no? I mean, he's one of the few people that we always joke about the scene between him and Vader where he calls him out, and says, that wasn't a condition of our agreement. What was given on to that bounty hunter? You feel you're being treated unfairly. It's like he's one of the only characters that actually like raise his voice at Lord Vader or challenge him in any way and make it to the next scene without being choked.
Yeah, and the reason he made it to the next scene without being choked was because he sold out his best buddy.
He tried. He tried to disagree, but Vader shows up, and you're just trying to, it's self-preservation. I mean, it's whatever he was trying to save Cloud City, from certain doom, I suppose. Making deals. It is kind of cold though that it happens to be one of your close friends, but.
Yeah, because I think when I met your dad for the interview, he was like fresh off a plane from LA. We did it in London in a hotel near Heathrow Airport. He was fresh off that plane, so therefore not that fresh, if you know what I mean. He was pretty tired, but that's the way he wanted to do it. And but no, we had a great time. And I remember I was sort of teasing him a bit, probably like behaving like an elementary school kid, but that's generally how I behave. I was teasing him a bit about Lando selling out Han, and he was like not letting it go. He was there to fight and, fight Lando's corner and convince me that Lando did the right thing. He kind of took it to heart, really, when I first suggested that Lando did the dirty on his friend. And I love that, how passionate your dad is about Lando.
Yeah, I mean, there's a great deal of his own personality in that character. I mean, they created that role around him, basically. So it wasn't like he came in and auditioned for someone else's role. I mean, I think they really had him in mind when they created it. So there's a good deal of his persona in that role, I believe. But yeah, he redeemed himself in Return of the Jedi when he blew up the Death Star. So
he did. We'll give him that then. And I can see he's getting a bit of support in the group as well. I can see Gypsy Road saying he didn't sell him out. He had to save his people, the people of Cloud City. Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay. We'll talk about because your involvement with your dad led to you being very, very involved in the Return of the Jedi. But just one more thing on your dad. Since we last spoke, your dad obviously returned to Star Wars with the rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was rumored for a long time, and people were asking you this question. I saw on Facebook a lot as well. People asking you, "What do you know? What do you know? What do you know?" And you're like, "I don't know anything." Like, how much did you know? When did you find out that your dad was? How much did you really know? Were you deceiving us at the time? I mean, did you find out early from your dad privately, or did you find out like everybody else on Twitter?
It started off this storm on Twitter one time. I think I said that I couldn't confirm nor deny that he was going to be in it. I had no idea what was going to happen, whether he was or wasn't. And then all of a sudden, everybody's calling me going, "What did you say?" I was like, "What? I didn't say anything." And my sister defending me. She was like, "Corey, you're good." I was like, I tried. I wasn't, I don't know anything. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's almost.
It's really hard, you
It's almost better not to say anything, I guess.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, I had no idea when or if, or these things get confirmed at the last minute, and by the time they leak it out, it's already happening usually. So yeah,
did you find out from
else.
your dad, or did you find out through the press when it was finally confirmed?
Yeah, I could pretty much find out when it was finally confirmed. Because he can't talk to me about it. All we can do is kind of wink at each other. It's like, hey, Dad, you're gonna be here, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know, okay. Because
when he
everybody kept waiting. Everybody kept like, "Where's Lando?" Like, they put out like 2 movies, and it was like, "Where is he?" Like, are they gonna bring him back? I mean, they should have brought him back when he and Han Solo could have had a cool reunion. In the beginning, it would have been even cooler. But everybody loved the fact that they brought him back, and people were tearing up in the theater, and oh, Lando's back, finally.
Yeah, no, it's a shame we didn't get that reunion with with all of the gang, really, the original gang. But we got something, and that's better than nothing. So when he finally could talk to you about it privately, what were his emotions like?
He was really excited. I mean, there was definitely a change in his mood, I would say. His mood was definitely altered, and his spirits were definitely lifted. About the excitement of coming back into the movie again, and I think he always wanted to. I mean, we all love the character Lando Calrissian. I mean, and so he's done so many movies. I mean, but that is like the most recognizable, I guess, iconic role that he's done in his career. I mean, and it spans so many different generations from young to old. So, a lot of the earlier movies he did, they're old school movies, and like, the hardcore Billy D followers know his earlier movies, but the younger generation has no idea. Like I sometimes I spring it on people and I go, hey, he was in this movie, like years ago. So it all kind of started with Brian's song, really, which is when he played Gale Sayers, and he got nominated for an Emmy Award, and then he did a series of movies with Diana Ross, and so he's been around for a really long time. Star Wars kind of just came out of nowhere, almost. It seems like.
Yeah, and I suppose there would be, because he has had such a long and varied career, and he's got his artwork as well, and he loves his music like you. He's released music, and I suppose there would be a danger that he could be a little bit bitter about being mostly remembered for Lando rather than all of the other great work he's done. But he's not. He completely, like I said, you can completely feel the love he has for that role.
Nope, he definitely appreciates all of the appreciation and that he gets, and rightfully so. I mean, it's a great role. It's an iconic role. I mean, it could have been anybody. It was, it was colorless. He was just a really cool guy who just, he was an intergalactic, scoundrel, I guess you could say.
He was a scoundrel. Yes, he was. And finally, on that, Gaz Nottingham has reminded me, because I'm sure you're going to tell us everything you know, Corey, about the upcoming Lando series, which Gaz is saying would be great if it was narrated by Billy Dee Williams, starring Billy, Corey, yourself there, and Donald Glover, showing different eras of Lando's life. First of all, do you like that idea of Gaz's?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's always great. All these different spin-offs, people try to make comparisons, and they really get competitive about, having a conversation about, the sequel, this sequel and that, and they get really passionate about what they like and don't like. But, I just think in the end, it's all great entertainment, and, they're trying to keep it going. It's going to go on forever. I mean, it's never going to stop. I mean, so they're going to keep doing spin-offs and doing, different things with it. I'm sure, they kind of have to. I mean, they owe it to the fans. I mean, But nothing will ever sort of surpass the original 3 movies. Were just sort of just so special in their own way, and nothing like that was ever done before at the time. So it's hard to beat that. Everything's been done now. So what do? You got to go back to storyline. You got to try to that's why the Mandalorian's been so successful, is because they had a pretty strong storyline, pretty strong characters in it. And, I love watching all the stuff, man. I don't really get into the cartoon versions as much, but I like.
No, but you watched the Mandalorian. 'Cause I did. There was a question actually from Marco, who asked, "What did you think about Luke returning in the Mandalorian?" Did you see that?
Oh, that was awesome, man. That was awesome. I mean, the problem, I wish I hadn't known about it ahead of time, because everybody kind of spoiled it for me, because I took so long to sort of get caught up. Like I hadn't been watching it.
Oh, you were spoiled.
Yeah, I was so like everybody kept showing pictures of him, and I was like going, oh no. So that and Ahsoka Tano, which was a really cool surprise too. But when I knew it was coming, but I didn't know when. And then when I saw the X-Wing come in, and it was coming in, and they were trying to fight their way out of the situation. The X-Wing was coming in. I was going, that's going to be Luke.
Yeah.
It was, but it still didn't, surprise, but I still enjoyed it though.
Yeah, no, it was obviously a very special moment. But you're not off the hook just yet regarding this Lando Disney Plus series. What do you know? What do you know, Corey? Tell me everything.
About what?
This Lando Disney Plus series. You're not getting away with this one.
I have no idea. I know as much about it as you do.
Come on, Corey. I just don't know if I can trust you anymore.
It's like people think I'm like plugged into Disney or something. Like they're just like, oh, I got a earpiece right now going. Disney's going, you better be quiet right now. We're gonna send Vader.
Yeah, there is, Corey. I don't want to alarm you, but there is a little red dot that's just appeared on your head there. So maybe you should stop right there, my friend. And a few other of your dad's films have been mentioned by Simon Drake there, that I put up on screen. I want to move on to your involvement with Star Wars. I mean, the great thing about it as well, if people know you, they'll know this already, but you are a Star Wars fan, and
definitely.
You're in that very unique position of being a Star Wars fan, growing up with the films, growing up with, your dad being in the films and a key character, but also the fact that you got to be in one of the films. So I'm going back to Return of the Jedi here with the Jabba sail barge scenes on Tatooine, aka a desert in Arizona. So you went along with your friend Stephen Constantino, and you guys were in a band called Atmosphere together. And you went along initially to be your dad's stand-in between scenes, yeah, because obviously your dad is far too important to stand around between scenes. So you were there to be the guy to stand in between scenes so they could get the shots right. And you brought Stephen along, and the idea was that when you weren't standing in between scenes, you two could be working on your next album for Atmosphere, yeah. But that then led to you getting multiple roles in and around the film, because you then got sort of upgraded to stuntman for your dad, and then you ended up playing a character in the film as well. Talk me through it, Corey.
Yeah, I had no intention of doing a character. That wasn't part of the plan at all. I mean, like you said, I went there as a stand-in. You set up shots. And because we looked so similar, I mean, I was a lot younger then, but about 22 or 23 years old. But, I was starting to look more like my dad as I got older. I looked more like my mother as a kid, but I started looking more like my dad as I got older. And when I got there as a stand-in, they decided, well, he maybe we can use him for other things like doubling and stuff. So there was actually the stunt guy who does most of the stunts for my dad, who did for years. Julius LaFleur did most of the really dangerous, difficult stuff. But that's me as Klaatu there, yeah. So that just sort of came along. They just said, here, you know, they were running out of bodies, and they said there was so many injuries on the set, and they said, here, we need you to do this scene, you know, as a creature. And I was like, they didn't really have a name for the creature at that time. I don't really know. That probably came along when they created a toy set. And Steven just was sort of there, you know, he was hanging out. There was no plan to put him in any costume, but we're like, hey, Steven, do you want to, you know, put this Gamorrean guard? Sure. You know, we didn't have anything else to do. Just sitting around. So yeah, I mean, it just how it came about. And one of our managers, Derek Mackey, who books us at appearances, he came to my house and saw that photograph of Steven and I, and he said, I think that creature has a name, and I think that creature has an action figure. And I was like, what? You're kidding me. I find out 30 years later that, you know, that I'm an action figure. I was like, man, that's disappointing. I could have used that all this time. You know, I could have used it as leverage.
Those years wasted. But going back to, sorry, I cut you off by putting the picture up, which distracted you. So we've covered Klaatu, but going back to the stunt moment, I think this is the relevant shot. So we don't know, I don't know necessarily in this exact shot, but you basically, for this moment where Lando's dangling over the Sarlacc pit, at least for times, that was you, wasn't it? You ended up doing stunts.
It was a combination of my father and Julius and I, you know, there was just the three of us. So that right there looks like it's actually could be Julius. I can kind of tell by the hair usually, because we, you know, they, at a distance, you know, they try to fake it, make it look good. But, you know, you definitely, you know, when it goes by quickly, you don't know. But yeah, I was actually hanging over. So I was in part of the scene where he's dangling over the side, that I'm dangling in some of those shots in the background, while Julius is actually doing another stunt, falling into the pit. So, but yeah, that was the scene, and that was pretty much the moment.
Wow, and I mean, stupid question, really. I guess it was uncomfortable, right?
Yeah. I mean, you imagine what they put you in is sort of like what you would use to rappel a mountain climbing harness. So it goes across your thighs, and then, you know, you're supporting most of your weight from your hips. And so, yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why they didn't want to hang my father up there. I mean, you know, it's cool if they need a close up and, you know, they need him to do dialogue, but there's no need to have him dangling around in the background while all the stuff is going on.
So, we'll sacrifice the sun instead.
Yeah, the thing they didn't tell me is the explosions were going to be kind of big. Like, I didn't really realize how big the explosions would be, but until I was already up there, and then sparks are hitting us, and then Peter Mayhew's double for Chewbacca was up there, and he's smoldering, you know, because sparks are hitting him. And I'm thinking, now, if we catch on fire, it's going to be a minute before they can get to us with a fire extinguisher, because they're quite a distance away from, you know, where we were, because the shot was so wide, you know, the camera's back really far. So those things are going through your head, trying to put them out of your mind, you know, nah, I'll be fine.
Yeah, it will all be worthwhile eventually. But the heat from the explosions, but also the heat from that big yellow thing in the sky as well, because you're in Arizona, which is a hot place, and a desert, which is also a hot place. So combine those two hot type of places, it's one big hot place, yeah?
Yeah, about 110 degrees in the shade there. I mean, every day, and you become acclimated to it. Like, you don't even, after a while, you know, you have to cover up your skin. Actually, I mean, you can't let yourself be exposed to the sun, you know, all day in and day out. So, but yeah, I mean, it was tough. It was a tough shoot. I mean, I didn't really want to do it because I knew what was going to happen. You know, I've been on other shoots before, and my father asked me about it, and I was like, I don't know. because we were in the middle of doing music, Stephen and I, and we were trying to get a record deal at the time, and so we were trying to finish our album, and it was kind of like, well, we got to stop what we're doing, and that's when he suggested that I bring Stephen, and then Stephen ended up coming along because of that. But the rest is history. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy how fortuitous most of that stuff is. It just happens, like it just sort of happened randomly, Now I would probably, if they called me up tomorrow, I'd jump at the chance and be like, what, when, where, when do you want me to be there? How soon? But,
yeah, no, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You went there to all those years ago, really just to what you thought would be a stand-in, and then be making music, and that was the priority of you being there to make music with your friend in the downtime. And now you're traveling the world, signing pictures of this random creature, Klaatu, that you were asked to play on a whim, really. And as you said yourself, you weren't that up for it at the time, in terms of on the build-up of going there.
Yeah. I mean, I had no idea, when Derek first presented that idea to me, well, you should come out, fans have these action figures that collect the whole sets, and they want every piece of the set signed when you have collectibles. And at that time, no one had been signing for that character. And so, I decided, I would give it a go. I mean, it was one way for my father and I to spend more time together, which was the most attractive thing about it to me, because he's on one coast, I'm on the other, and we don't get a chance to spend a lot of time together. But a lot of times I end up doing appearances alongside him, and so we get to have dinner and hang out and chat and spend quality time together that we normally wouldn't be able to spend outside of that, or wouldn't have the time to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I miss about it right now during this pandemic. I mean, all of that's pretty much shut down, but it'll resume again.
Oh yeah, we'll come back. Now it's really cool that in some ways Star Wars helps bring you and your dad together all these years later, as well, for quality father and son time. I'm seeing lots of questions coming in the chat, which we'll come to a little bit later on. But Corey, music was your first love. It's still, I imagine, your first love, your main passion. And Star Wars, like I said, it was with you. It was never meant to be a job, was it? Really, Star Wars sort of became a job on the fly. But you were a fan first and foremost, and now you're bringing together those two. I say now, you've been doing it for a long time. Those two loves, music and Star Wars, specifically funk music. So you've got this project, 3D Nucleus, and I have linked everybody in the stream. I have linked to 3D Nucleus in the video description. So if you could go over to Facebook or Instagram, whichever one you prefer, give it a like, a follow, whatevs. And also there is a link to the latest Star Wars themed song that you have released, because you did one a few years ago. I've got a picture here actually, because you had some cameos in this song, Cloud City Funk, one of which was your father, which I filmed in London for you. And one was probably the pinnacle of the cameos, was me. And another was this guy.
Yeah, I actually got Mark Hamill to dance with me, if you can imagine that. He's a pretty busy guy, but I approached him and he said yes, and he was on his way out that day. And so we played the song for him. We told him we had a dance called the Lando Point, the Cloud City Point, and we showed him how to do it, and he fell right into it. Great guy, great sense of humor. He ended up kissing me on the forehead, and
that's in the video, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, well, you can't do that now,
Yeah.
in pandemic time. So at least you had that moment, because maybe the moment will never return.
He was a great sport about it. We got Ray Park be in it, and my friend Deep Roy, who also did some Yoda work, and and Ray actually had a double lightsaber, and I didn't know he was a mean dancer, man. He can pop and do all these different things, and so he had a double lightsaber, and we got him to do a dance routine, and as we were filming him, he was getting carried away. He was like, "Can I do it? Let me do it one more time." I was like, "Sure, Ray. I mean, go right ahead."
Yeah,
I got some good footage.
No, it was a great video, great
fun.
tune, great video, and it was a real kind of Star Wars collaboration of fans and actors and stars.
Yeah, that's what was really cool about it. It was done completely off the cuff. I mean, we had no plan what we were going to do. My friend Mark, who's a photographer, was going to be there, and I said, "You want to shoot some video?" And he was like, "Yeah, what, you need like a few hours?" Well, we ended up shooting video for like 3 days or something, just going around with people with different costumes and playing the songs for them and getting them to dance. And we had a blast. I mean, we had more fun outside of the convention than we probably, would have had attending the convention.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Well, that video is on the 3D Nucleus YouTube channel, but there's a new song as well, which is I think you released like a month ago. Here's the graphic for it. May the funk be with, oh wait, it's gone. Hang on. May the funk be with you. There it is.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about this. Obviously, the music, who you collaborated with, and also the cool animation you've got as well, the cartoons.
Yeah, I sent this. I had this bass groove, and I sent it to Monty Pittman, who happens to play with. He plays on the road with Madonna. He's Madonna's guitar player, and he played some really cool guitar riffs, and we had a real funky groove going. And it's all I love funk. That's the kind of music we create, basically. I mean, just variants, different variables on the funk theme, but. So it originally started with he and I, and then we brought in a lot of other members of the Nucleus, and then Will March, who's also known as DJ Willie Wow, who does like kids DJing, and he's a rap artist himself. And I sent him the track, and he was like, he immediately clicked with it and wrote some great lyrics. I mean, he threw in like every Star Wars reference you could think of. It was really, really cool. Wow, so it just all came together really well. We had, all our different members of the, because we have so many 3D Nucleus is basically a music project with that consists of maybe 30 artists worldwide now. So people keep joining and people keep coming in to collaborate with us. And then I happened to see David Gonzalez's artwork on Instagram, and I thought, man, because we hadn't done anything with the song. I just sort of put it to the side, and I saw David's work, and I said, those characters are like perfect for the song, because he had this combination sort of b-boy, hip hop, Star Wars thing going, and I was like, man, that's just so cool. And so I approached him. And he was like, yeah, because he already had the characters already. He was, posting them on Instagram and stuff. And I said, I like to use your characters, to create a video. And then, we couldn't really animate them, but we gave the appearance of them being animated by moving different elements around them and stuff, zooming and panning. And, so I do a lot of editing and production. So we knew that we were going to do it that way. And he really was. He was awesome. I mean, he gave me layers to work with and different things. He broke the drawings down. He didn't even have a Klaatu. And I said, do you have a Klaatu? And he was like, no, but I can do one. The next day, sent me a Klaatu, and I put Klaatu in the video. And he updated his Lando that he had, because he had like a Donald Glover Lando. And I said, you need like a Billy D Lando. And he put that together.
Yeah.
I mean, the drawings were like perfect. So it just kind of all came together. It was a great fun song and a great fun video to do. People need to check it out, and all these Star Wars fans out there that appreciate funky music will enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I can see Tristan Peterson's already gone to listen and has said it is so much fun. And it is a lot of fun. Like you said, there's Star Wars references and even going back again to the Cloud City funk. You know, there's so many cameos of people you'll recognize from the films, but also possibly people you'll recognize not from the films, you know, because you had cosplayers in it and all sorts of fans as well. Who's the stormtrooper? You've worked with the storm. I don't know his name. The stormtrooper DJ guy goes around with a big boombox, dresses like in a red stormtrooper outfit. Who's he?
The hip hop trooper. Yeah, Strider.
Yeah, the hip hop trooper. That's the one. You've worked with him as well. So there's a lot of Star Wars collaborations that are part of the 3D Nucleus project. So it is a lot of fun. And with this new song, which I have linked to in the video description, everyone, it's a fun tune, and the animations as well. The cartoon's really cool. So definitely please go and check that out and give it a like as well. Hit that like button for Corey. As well. So are you working on some more new music?
Yeah, we're always working on music. It's a constant thing. So we have like probably over 200 recorded tracks now. I mean, and they're all in various stages of development, of course. So we just sort of like, I pick and choose because I do the production and editing on all of them. But we pick and choose which ones we want to focus on, and then I share them with the appropriate musician for that particular piece, because we all have our own sort of playing styles. Sometimes it's not even me playing bass, like on May the Funk Be With You. I played bass, but also so did Matt Supnick. Supnick is an awesome player, and he threw in some like bootsy style stuff that is way outside of
Bootsy Collins,
what I do. Yeah, it was really, really cool. And then and Martin Anderson, who did the horn arrangements, and him and Ben both, they have a little ensemble called the Side Chick Horns, where they do horn arrangements and back people and stuff. So it was just like and then James Wen, who also, we call him Bigfoot, Jimmy, he's pretty much does a lot of the live drumming stuff. And then I do most of the program drumming, but he does most of the live drumming stuff in our recordings. Very, very, very funky drummer, great kick drum. But yeah, that is it was such a fun thing. We just walked around during Star Wars Celebration, Orlando that year. And because we just figured, well, what's the best place to do a Star Wars video? Star Wars Celebration, everybody's going to be in costume. You're not going to have to contact anybody, or,
It's all set up for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people we approached, and just, of course, everybody wanted to do it. I mean, after the word got out, that we were walking around doing that, I mean, everybody was trying to get in it. We had Mark and I had 100 hours of video footage. I could make probably 10 videos. Well, the video footage I had, the best stuff, Yeah.
No, it was really well put together, and I am eternally grateful for you, Corey, because it is thanks to you that I can say I was in a music video, which first of all is a new box ticked for me at the time it was, but also I'm in a music video with Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, which was also another box ticked at the time. Two boxes I never expected to tick. I don't even know if those boxes existed in my kind of bucket list, but they do now, and they're both ticked. So I have you to thank for that. So everyone in it was you.
It happened because of you, really. I mean, you asked me if I had any music for your parody, and that was the song I gave you. It was a sort of slimmed down version of it. And you said, well, I'll send you the video of your dad, and you can, post it or whatever. And I said, well, what can we do with this? We can do something cool. And then the idea came up that we should just do a full blown music video out of it. So it just came out of the fact that, I shared that one piece of music with you, which it sort of just came about. Jimmy was playing these electronic sounds on his drum kit, and it just sort of was going in that direction. We had no intention of creating a Star Wars
Yeah,
route.
I'd forgot about that. I forgot about my integral role. So I am happy to take the praise and also the royalties as well. We'll talk off air about that because you've kept it quiet so far, Corey. But everyone in the stream, once again, I have linked to Freedom Nucleus on YouTube and other social media platforms. Please go and check out May the Funk Be With You. And if you want to go back, roll back the years to, I think, 2017 Cloud City Funk as well. Corey, just finally, are you happy to take some questions from the chat?
Sure. Absolutely.
It would be awkward if you said no, wouldn't it? I mean, you kind of, I put you in a position where you had no choice, essentially. Right, I'm gonna start from the bottom. No, I'm gonna work my way. I'm gonna go up and then come down. If I miss any of your questions from earlier on, people, copy and paste them back in because I'm starting from around here. This is Tristan Peterson. Do you know if your dad liked Lando in Solo, which was Donald Glover's version of Lando?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose so. I mean, he I guess Glover came to him for advice when he was getting ready to do the role. So yeah, I mean, there's an appreciation. I guess it was a whole different thing to me. It wasn't the same. It was sort of like neither Han Solo either. It was like that was its own movie, that was connected to the other movies by the characters, but I think it was definitely, it was its own movie and a good movie, But and a lot of people hit me up and they said, well, why didn't you, well, first of all, I'm not an actor. That's the first thing. And a lot of people said, well, he's too old, I don't look as old as I really am, but yeah, I probably wouldn't have made it past the audition.
I don't know. There's still more projects to come, so maybe we might see you back in a Star Wars film sometime, Corey. Another question. Oh, here's a statement, more like, from David Milano. He's just learned that he has an action figure of you, Corey, which is pretty cool.
All right.
Sticking with Klaatu, Chad Campbell is in the house. I usually call him Chad the Stopwatch Campbell because he helps keep me to time, of which we have gone over as usual again already. Chad. Is there any massive backstory on Klaatu? If so, have you read it? Or would you be willing to invent one yourself? Do you know of any backstory to Klaatu?
That's pretty cool. No, I don't. I mean, on Wikipedia, they did sort of mention that he was a gambler and that he ended up working for Jabba because he was working off a debt. So that seems like, that's as much of a backstory that I ever got on the character. But they should create something. Now, I'll put that head on.
You can put that head on again. Yeah, and what? Don't stop at a backstory on paper. We want a spin-off series.
Yeah, they had a few. Actually, they had a few. Those creatures are called Nikto. So Klaatu Barada Nikto, which is from the day the Earth stood still, right? So they used that. But they had some of those creatures in the Mandalorian. Actually, I saw some of them. I was like, oh, it's Klaatu's cousin, But yeah,
you must have missed the call. Why were you not there?
They didn't have my number, by the way. Reach out to me.
Chad has another question. We did talk about your dad and his emotion of being asked to come back as Lando finally. Did you yourself, because I know you were in London recently, a year ago, 2 years ago, did you get to visit the set of episode 9 with your dad?
No, I didn't. So, I went there for London Film Comic-Con. And so it was a whirlwind. I mean, they kept us so busy. We worked full days. I mean, so by the time we were done with our day, it was kind of like we were exhausted. We just want to go somewhere and have dinner and relax, maybe have a few drinks at the bar. But I did get to, Derek and I went to see a play while we were there. And we also went to see the Stanley Kubrick display that was at the museum, which was kind of fun. We kind of had a whirlwind day, like one more day there. It's like, and we were done with the con, and it's like we just try to do some things. But yeah, I mean, when you go to from city to city, you know, and you do these cons and appearances and things, you never see the city itself. I mean, I always say you see two doors. You see the hotel door and the convention door. You know, you go out one and into the other. But yeah, the most fun thing about it though is getting to react with fans and people who really appreciate the movies, and you know, meeting people. You learn more about places sometimes through the people you meet than actually walking down the street, you know, in some places.
So you never got to go to Pinewood to visit the set of episode 9?
No, I wish I had, you know, I wish we had put that in there somehow, but
yeah, Stanley Kubrick exhibition, a play. Really? You put them above visiting the set of episode 9?
For the moment, it's just like, hey, you want to go to the museum? Sure.
Oh man,
basically walk.
Corey, you've gone down in my my levels of respect for you. But no, that Kubrick exhibition I actually missed, but I heard some fantastic things about it. Another question.
Make it happen for me.
Well, they took down the sets now, so maybe if your dad does end up involved with this Lando series, maybe we can visit that set together. You can bring me next time. Right, so another question for you from Simon Drake. Do you remember anything with Richard Marquand and what he directed when you worked on Return of the Jedi? Was it Richard Marquand directing you, or was it George Lucas as well, or was it, I don't know, someone second unit director or what have you? Do you remember much about the direction?
Yeah, I think most of the time there was probably some second unit director there. But I did meet Lucas. He was there. Great guy, you know, very serious about his work. But I think I have a photo of he and I somewhere. It didn't turn out well. It's like the shadow and like, oh, bummer, you know, but he was real cool. Being on the set was like a family, you know, everybody, you know, Harrison's trailer and then Gary's trailer and then Mark. There's a photo of Mark and Steven and I where we sort of knocked on his trailer door and then we took a Polaroid, because they didn't really allow like photos on the set. Like now everybody has a digital camera in their pocket on their phone, you know, but back in those days you had to bring a camera that had actual film in it and develop it, you know. But we had this sort of Polaroid that we were walking around, and we snapped a few shots, and there's one of Mark in his bathrobe, you know, and Steven and I, you know, posing with him, you know, because we opened the door and he was in his trailer, and he's really, really cool guy, really, really good sport. I mean, and even when we played music in the hotel room in the evening, some of those crew members would come and listen to us play and jam and stuff.
There's a little fun fact here from Sanely Red, who's just looked up on Wikipedia on Klaatu, and the character was originally going to be called Woof. Woof.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion because I think the toy had one name, and then they probably changed the name of the toy at some point, and the outfits are slightly different. So you know, it's debatable whether or not Wolf was actually a different character, because there was other Nikto, you know, in the Jabba sail barge. So, you know, Klaatu wasn't the only one, but he was the main one. And I did the fight sequence between he and Luke Skywalker. So it goes by really quick. If you blink in the film, you'll probably miss it. But I come out, I go toward him, he cuts the weapon in half, I turn around and I go back in. You know, that's
he took you out. He did take you out.
I went back in for a bigger weapon.
Yeah. Do you prefer the name Klaatu or Woof?
Oh, Klaatu, definitely. I mean, Woof.
Stick with Klaatu.
Yeah, Wolf is
There's a lot of love for the music in the chat as well. I can see Tristan Peterson. We saw this one earlier saying it's so much fun. Martin Anderson has called you a funky dude. And Simon Drake.
Professor, we call him the professor, man.
He's Professor Martin Anderson.
He did the cool horn arrangements, man. We call him.
Okay.
But I call him the professor because he's really steep in the music theory and stuff. I'm an ear player. But he knows what to call it. He knows what chord sounds right with what progression. And so I started calling him the professor, but he does awesome horn arrangements. And he and Ben Otieno really, really lay it down, man.
Well, I'm sorry to not use his correct title, Professor Martin Anderson. Simon Drake likes the music so much that he would actually like to see one of your songs included in Return of the Jedi, Jabba's Palace, instead of the Jedi Rock song, which is currently there as part of the special edition. So maybe you should be pitching that, because they like to see, Lucas, anyway, at least likes to tweak those films every now and again. So maybe you could pitch one of your songs to replace Jedi Rock. Simon Drake would appreciate that.
You would love it, We would love the opportunity to get some music placement in a Star Wars movie. Anything. It doesn't matter.
Does coolness run in the Williams family, from Tristan? I'm gonna answer that one for you. I think it does. Corey's a cool dude. The two Williams I've met have both been very cool. I'll take the pressure off you with that one.
My grandfather actually started with December Williams. He was the coolest.
See, the coolest, and he's passed that cool down the generations. You sort of covered this already from Gaz Nottingham. Would you ever be up for playing a cameo as Lando in any form in Star Wars, i.e. Disney Plus, the Lando series? You sort of covered that earlier on.
If I was I would certainly give it a go.
You would give it a go.
I would give it a go.
So I know you'd be up for putting the Klaatu helmet on again or playing another alien, but you'd also be up for playing a version of Lando as well, would you?
If they asked me to do it, I'd sure give it a try.
Well, there we go, Gaz Nottingham. You heard it here first. And there's a lot of mystery about this.
Never say never.
Never say never. Don't you dare ever say never.
Never.
There is a lot of mystery about this. Don't say never. There is a lot of mystery about this Lando series, and I've seen one theory is that perhaps there will be, different forms of Lando, through the ages. Therefore, your dad could be involved, and Donald Glover could be involved. And if we're looking for something in the middle, therefore it could be you, couldn't it?
You never know. You have to. You have to be open to all sorts of opportunities. It's better to be open to opportunities than to close your mind to opportunities, right?
Of course. And just remember to let me know when it's all been confirmed. And let me know first. Skywalker Sound loved Cloud City Funk. I hope you've also checked out May the Funk Be With You as well. Rob Heaton, do you do any of your dad's lines, your dad's Lando lines?
Yeah, my father usually tries to get me to do them sometimes, when people try to get him to do them and I do Q&As with him. It's usually that scene with Vader, which I was doing earlier, Lord Vader, there wasn't a condition of our agreement. No, it was given hand to that bounty hunter. You feel you're being treated unfairly? Good. It would be unfortunate if I had to leave a garrison. And then he just goes, this deal keeps getting worse all the time.
Is that your favorite Lando line?
Yeah, it's my favorite Lando scene of all time, man.
Brad Snoke is in the house, sending love from Texas, and we've got Denise as well. Denise Leader saying hello, and I think
Denise.
Denise is a friend of yours. Oh, that's Brad. Hang on, where's Denise gone? There's Denise. There she is, and there's Brad again. The Sarge is in the house as well. With a Bootsy Collins mention in the Cincinnati area. He's definitely a hometown hero. Is Bootsy Collins?
Hero, he's the hero of funk, man. He's one of the originators. Woo.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's a funk god. I think I told you I interviewed him. I interviewed him a long time ago, and he
That
was
was
so
fun.
much fun, so
Yeah.
much fun. And he actually gave me his phone number. I don't know what to do with it, but he gave me his phone number. It was like a landline, a house phone number. It wasn't a mobile. I didn't get
Man,
mobile
I
privileges.
want to talk to Bootsy.
Yeah, well, we'll do a group chat next time then. Right, let's get these final questions done because we've hit the hour mark almost, a few minutes off.
I told you we were going to go past 30 minutes. We never do 30 minutes. There's no way.
No, it's true. It's true. It's just never going to happen. Skywalker Sound would like to know, have you ever met John Williams?
No, I have never met John Williams. What a composer, though. Gosh, right?
Oh, he's the best. He is the best.
Sound of Star Wars.
Kathleen Campbell is a fan of May the Funk Be With You.
He was in May the Funk Be With You.
Oh, okay.
And she's
well,
in
there we go.
videos, Home Alone Funky. So that's also on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. But Home Alone Funky. So it's about being home alone during the pandemic and being funky. And I said, Kat, she's a close friend. I said, can you put on a Stormtrooper helmet, Boba Fett helmet, like dance around your apartment and whatnot, just take video? And that's basically what she did. But yeah, in Cloud City Funk, she was one of the female Stormtroopers in that. So that's basically when I met her. I met her doing Dragon Con, actually. But so, she's one of the 501st, which is a huge organization, but she's a really, really good friend of mine. Cool person. Hey, Kat.
It's a small world, isn't it? It's a small world. I imagine some of this because you put a link to this on your Facebook account. So we've got some. There was me thinking, oh yeah, this stream's popular. They're all your mates. They're all your mates, which is great. Everyone's welcome here. We're all mates. Dale has asked a question, a non-Star Wars question regarding your dad's work. He says, I always assumed that Billy Dee Williams would have portrayed Two-Face as he was Harvey Dent in the first two Batman movies. Of course, Harvey Dent, we didn't see him as Two-Face in Tim Burton's first Batman film. Do you know if this would have happened if Tim Burton hadn't have been replaced? Do you think eventually your dad would have become Two-Face if Tim Burton made more Batman films? Do you know if there was ever any talk of that?
That's a good question. I think, yeah, when Tim, they bought my father out of his contract or something like that. Because I think Tim had intended, he knew that Harvey Dent was going to be Two-Face and he was looking forward to doing that role. But then I guess when Tim stopped doing movies, the whole thing sort of got reset in a way. And then Tommy Lee ended up doing Two-Face. But I think what's the actor's name that did Two-Face in the Dark Knight?
Oh, is it Aaron? Someone in the chat will get this for us. Aaron. Let me check the chat. Awesome. Someone will have this. I'll just keep making noises until someone.
He was looking forward to doing Two-Face, but the opportunity never came because the whole series just sort of got reset, and that was the end of that. He was great as Harvey Dent, though.
So he was always under the impression that he would be back for more Batman films. Then it wasn't just a one film contract.
Yeah, that was the idea. And then they I guess they decided to go to other characters when they went to the Penguin and Catwoman at the same time. They sort of skipped over, I guess, the opportunity to do Two-Face at that time, but maybe they were planning on doing it later, or just decided not to focus on that particular character. There's so many great villains in the Batman series,
There are, and we're going to keep getting new versions of them. Much like Star Wars, that will keep on. That's a gift that we'll keep on giving as well. And lots of you in the chat as well, giving me the full name. I got Aaron right. Aaron Eckhart, of course. Aaron Eckhart was the Dark Knight Harvey Dent, and we did see him as Two-Face as well. Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is true, isn't it? Your dad got to voice Two-Face in the Lego Batman movie.
Huh. Okay. Right. That's right. Yeah, so he got in there somehow.
Eventually, in a slightly different way. Right, then I think I have gone through all of the questions in the chat. If I've missed anything, you've got seconds now to put your question back in the chat. I think we've got a personal message for you here from Michael. Denise's grandson saying hi from Boston.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
So there we go.
Well. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, that goes for everybody. For everybody. Yeah. Okay, here's one final question. This is one final question from the Sarge, neighbor of Bootsy Collins, of course. What was your favorite or fondest memory from your time spent on the set of Return of the Jedi?
Oh my gosh! Wow. You know, it's. I could write a book. I mean, I've been tempted to, but yeah, I mean, probably I would say all the things that happened behind the scenes. You know, some of the fun that we had, the laughs that we all shared together, and Stephen and I jamming in the hotel room at night and having people come hang out with us and going to the local pizza parlor. And, you know, it wasn't so much the things that happened on the set, but just as much the things that happened off the set. And then built a great relationship with Julius LaFleur, who became like a bigger brother to me, and ended up doing stunts for him, and because he became a coordinator in other movies. And so developed some really cool friendships and relationships, and just a fun time, man.
See, when you say the things that happened offset, my devilish mind automatically assumes that therefore you're not going to tell us what really was your fondest memory, because perhaps it's not broadcastable if it happened offset. There was just too many good times to report. Actually, sorry, final question, because Chad Campbell did ask me this on the Patreon when I mentioned that you were coming on. What did you think of the Miko Star Wars disco albums? I know not exactly fun.
Oh, yeah. People always bring that up, you know. Yeah, it was campy. Yeah, it was really campy. There was like, you know, disco's such an underrated sort of genre. You know, everybody sort of, they developed this sort of disdain for it at some point in the 80s came, but you know, it was really well done, very well orchestrated and arranged music, most of it. So we're kind of doing like now, we've been working on several songs that are kind of like a modern version of disco, because it's sort of like a lot of people are roller skating again now, and roller skating sort of coming back. So we're doing like some roller boogie type grooves that we're working on, trying to see if we can get some people to skate, if you know anybody.
I will keep eyes out. You know, I'm not out and about much at the moment. In fact, if you are out skating in the UK at the moment, you might be breaking the law. Actually, no, because you're allowed to go out and exercise. So perhaps you wouldn't be breaking the law. But if I do realize I have friends who skate, I'll let you know. Anyone in the chat, let us know.
Reach out.
Yeah. Right then, Corey, thank you so much for your time, and thank you everybody in the chat as well. And just a reminder that I have linked in the video description to the 3D Nucleus Project across the social media spectrum, if you like, and there is a link to May the Funk Be With You. So please go and have a look at May the Funk Be With You. Give it a like as well, and support Corey's YouTube channel, musical endeavors, a lot of Star Wars crossover as well. And well, Corey, maybe we'll see you in a future Lando project. Who knows?
Never know.
We know you'll be up for it, at least. We know that. And can I just thank all Patreon members as well? Here's the graphic for some of the members anyway on the relevant tiers, which means that I put your names up on screen. So thank you to all Patreon members, including those that we see on the screen right now. And once again, thank you to my guest, Corey Dee Williams. Cheers, mate.
Good to see you, Jamie.
And you stay safe, Corey. Stay safe, everybody out there. And we'll
Let's do another project together soon.
Yeah, man, we need to collaborate. We need to complete our trilogy of music hits together.
Yeah, as long as it's funky.
Always funky, man. I mean, you bring the funk. I'm not a funky kind of person. Just naturally, I don't ooze funk. I like to ooze funk. You ooze the funk. I don't ooze any funk. Disco as well. Dancing's not a way I like to travel. I'm just an awkward guy. But you cover the music, and I'll cover
You got
other
the cool,
elements.
man. You got that cool. So you don't, that's automatic funk.
A different kind of cool, I guess. All right, I'll take that from you. Thank you very much. Corey, a lot of people are saying you should write a Star Wars book, by the way. By a lot of people, I mean Simon Drake. There he is. Tell Corey to write a Star Wars book.
I will be doing a motivational book, though, of optimistic quotes. So that'll be coming up soon.
Cool. All right. Well, when that's ready, come back on and tell everyone about it.
I will.
Cool, man. All right, Corey. I realized I said, first of all, thank you and said bye about 5 minutes ago. So now I'm definitely going to thank you once again. And definitely this time I'm going to say bye to you, Corey, and to everybody else in the chat. Thank you for joining us.
May the funk be with you.